Hello, everybody. I am Brett Kinsella, founder of VoiceBot.ai. Thanks for coming out today. We have a special guest, and it's a returning guest. Otto Söderlund is the co-founder and CEO of Speechly. He was on with me about a year ago talking about some of the recent advances Speechly made in their product stack. And I'm really happy to have him back again today because we're going to be talking about the Voice UI Evolved. And in particular, Speechly just went through, I guess, what you would probably say is the most prestigious tech startup accelerator in the world, and that's Y Combinator. And through that process, they had the opportunity to interact with a lot of companies over a very short period of time. The Y Combinator network is pretty powerful. And so that enabled Otto and Hannes and some of the other executives and co-founders of Speechly to get access to a lot of really large organizations, public companies, as well as a lot of growth stage startups who are doing some really interesting things. And that work together, talking to over 70 companies, unearthed some really interesting insights, which led to a whole new set of product features and product evolution. So I'm really excited to have you here for next installment of the VoiceBot webinar series. And Otto, I'd love to bring you up on stage if you can activate your video and your audio.
And audio. Hello, everybody. Great to see you. Great to see you, Brett.
Good to see you. Well, I'm sure you're still recovering from going through the gauntlet that is Y Combinator, but you have a lot to share with us today, so we should probably get started pretty quickly. What do you think?
Absolutely, absolutely. So still recovering, but super excited. So full of energy, but of course, you know, the body is a bit tired, but mind is super excited.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so I'm excited about this. In fact, you've got 3 videos, I know. So you're actually going to not just present, it's not just a presentation, it's also a demonstration. And we're going to have a conversation as well. Now, everybody in the audience, we're going to do Q&A. There is a Q&A button or a little tile on your screen. So if you want to ask questions, do that. You can ask them anytime. We're not going to take questions till the end, but we will stick around to do that. We're going to try to answer everyone's questions. Use that. If you put them in the chat, we might see them, we might not. So if you use the Q&A session, that's what I would recommend. All right. So Otto, what are we starting off with? Video, story?
So let's start first with a couple of words, and then some moving pictures. So let me share my screen to get us started. Great. So sharing my screen. Okie dokie. I trust you can now see my screen. Correct?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so let me first start by introducing myself. So I'm pretty sure that there's many familiar people, familiar faces on the line, but for those who don't know me yet, I'm Otto. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Speechly. I'm a serial entrepreneur, and prior to Speechly, I founded the leading digital management consultancy in the Nordics. I grew it, I internationalized it, and then I sold it off to a bigger chain. And after my 3-year earnout, I joined my old buddy Hannes in building Speechly. We recently graduated from Y Combinator, as Brett mentioned, and so many people have been asking us, how did it go? What did you learn? So we decided that we wanted to share some of the learnings we've had with you and organize this webinar. And I must say that it was truly a remarkable experience. We will be organizing 2 distinct webinars on this topic. Today is the first part of this 2 webinar series, and today we'll be discussing what have we been up to lately. We'll share a couple of interesting client example cases. We'll tell you more about what did we learn from YC, and we'll also tell you more about what we are building now. And in the second webinar, we will be telling you more about our new product and what we have actually achieved with that. So super exciting things to come. But let's first start with a quick introduction to Speechly. So Speechly is the fast, accurate, and simple voice API. And at Speechly, we are reimagining the voice technology stack from the ground up. And to be able to do that, we've needed to assemble a great team. And if you look at our team, our tech team has actually been building the current generation of voice assistants. My co-founder Hannes, our CTO, he is a machine learning PhD. He's been building natural language understanding for Siri at Apple. Janne, our chief scientist, is also a machine learning PhD. He has been doing speech recognition for Alexa at Amazon. He was there for 5 years, and he's been doing speech recognition for 15 years. So he knows that thing really, really well. Our other team members have also been building these products or other products enjoyed by hundreds of millions of daily active users. And our team also has very close ties to the academia. And as a matter of fact, over a third of our team members are machine learning PhDs. Trying to switch my slide. Great. So we are firm believers that voice will absolutely be the next paradigm shift when it comes to user interfaces, but it actually just won't be happening like the big tech has envisioned. Instead of voice being a separate channel, we believe that voice will be a modality in every single user interface across all the different platforms, websites, applications, digital products, physical environments. Voice is so much more than just assistants or conversations. When you look at voice as a feature, you realize that there are user interfaces everywhere, and almost all of them would actually benefit from voice features. At Speechly, we've identified some repeating patterns in applications and websites that would absolutely benefit from adding voice as a feature to make them better. And if you think of it, most applications that we use on a daily basis, they actually require us to, for example, search for things or filter things, fill out forms, provide some kind of input to the system, or controlling the system in a way or another. And we at Speechly have developed easy-to-use design patterns to augment these user behaviors with voice features so that the experiences typically become 10 times faster. And in a couple of years' time, there's no doubt that these patterns will become as ubiquitous as touchscreens have become today. And to make all of this possible, we've created fast, accurate, and simple tooling that makes it very easy for people to add voice features across their projects and products on practically any platform. And at the heart of our product is our proprietary spoken language understanding technology. And what it does is that it does both automatic speech recognition and natural language understanding in a streaming manner in real time. This means that it actually starts to make sense of what the user is saying the second they start speaking. So user feedback can actually be provided to the user while they are still speaking. And this enables a more robust user experience compared to the traditional assistant experiences. And our spoken language technology is very unique. And we have actually been granted with 3 US patents protecting the different layers of our technology. And just to be clear, 100% of our technology is our own proprietary technology. We don't rely on any third-party APIs, or we don't use any open source libraries. And we have created extensive developer tools that basically allow anyone to easily configure Speechly to support domain-specific interaction with voice. And the platform can be accessed through the web, or through a command line interface, or programmatically through an API. We have also released ready-made integration client libraries for all the major platforms. Think about the web, the mobile, and the major 3D engines, like, for example, Unity and Unreal Engine. And Speechly also has very flexible deployment options. Speechly can be used either as a SaaS product, or it can be deployed in a private cloud or on-premise, or even on device. And in addition to all of this, we've also released a wide range of open source examples that really show how modern voice user interfaces can be built. And all of this is available at speechly.com. So you can start to build amazing voice experiences today in the web, in the mobile, in the metaverse, in gaming, wherever you want.
Hey, Otto, I had a quick question for you about Unreal and Unity being on your list. So voice AI has been around for quite a while, and it's not unusual to see integration points for different type of voice services. I've not seen many that have gone into the world of Unity and Unreal. And for those of you watching or not as familiar with this, we're talking about 3D gaming, these more immersive experiences. There are a lot of places that you could integrate your API out of the box. How come Unity Unreal at this time were a priority?
Yeah, that's an excellent question, Brett. It's pretty straightforward. It was based on client demand. So we're seeing a lot of interest from companies, in the gaming space or in the metaverse space for building amazing experiences. And they are really looking for better solutions to help them build amazing experiences. And I'll actually be sharing one example of this with you shortly.
Right.
Cool. Okay, then let's start with some examples. So I promised to show you a couple of client examples. So this is the first one. So this is a word guessing game. It's a gaming example, and it's by Doppio games. And it's called Just Say the Word. It's a web-based game. It's live now in the Zoom marketplace. It's super cool. You should try it out. It's really fun. And Doppio, they wanted to add super fast and accurate voice features into their product. And you'll see soon why this was critical for their game mechanics. And they wanted it to work across all the major browsers and even within Zoom. And that's why they looked into Speechly. Now I'm going to show you how this works in practice. So it's super cool.
Yeah,
Let's play Just Say the Word.
All right. This is generally in your wallet. If you don't have a credit card. Right. So in World of Warcraft, warlocks could summon blank walkers.
Void
walker.
Oh my god.
You were gonna say the shoulder pads.
So artists use this as a tool to mix.
Palettes.
Palette.
I forgot about that. Out of work.
Right. This is eaten by tigers.
Rice. No.
What?
I don't think that's how it works. I didn't.
Until the...
How are they eaten by tigers, though?
Yeah.
Yeah, they live in different places, no?
10 more seconds
Yes.
to prepare.
Yeah, I think they're
There's no
confusing
tigers
lions.
there's no tigers in Africa.
I couldn't say lions, so I just picked the closest I
It's
could.
more likely they eat rice rather than.
Alright, this is a dessert item.
Biscuit?
Oh, wow.
Spot on.
Yeah.
This is when you want to God damn the words on this card. When you go to like a conference, you can get like a blank bag.
Gift?
Gift bag?
It's similar to that.
It's a swag.
It's
a
like
swag bag.
No.
No, another word. I want to skip.
Present?
Oh.
Well,
That's right. Grab bag.
This is nuptials.
matrimony.
Yeah, another word.
Wedding.
Pretty cool example, right? Okay. Let's look at the next example then. So this example also happens to be actually in the gaming space. And this is from Charisma Entertainment. And this example is built with Unreal Engine. And it's a game where you can actually interact with characters by speaking to them. And the characters are actually quite intelligent. They can pick up words from the user's speech They remember them, and they will actually be leveraging that information in the rest of the dialogues. So that is something really, really cool. And Charisma wanted a fast and accurate voice API that would work easily in Unreal Engine, so they turned to Speechly. And what their CTO Ben says about Speechly is that we chose Speechly to power the Steppenwolf experience thanks to its super low latency, market-leading accuracy, and its availability across all web browsers, Unreal Engine, and Unity. Cool, so check this out. This is also pretty awesome.
I am Steppenwolf, and you look scared. Are you scared, human?
You don't scare me, Steppenwolf.
Bravado in the face of threat. It is courageous, but with you it's fake. You already know who I am. I have broken 100,000 worlds in Darkseid's name, and soon I will break the Earth. But there is something in my way. I am looking for a suitable human to infiltrate our enemies from the inside.
Okay.
Okay. Is that all you can think of? Now, tell me. Does having a purpose appeal to you?
Do I want a purpose? Yeah, I guess so.
A human with actual ambition. You outclass most of your kind. Do you have a name, Primitive?
My name is Stephen.
Who gave you such a feeble name, Stephen?
My parents gave me that name when I was born.
One of humanity's great flaws is reliance on blood relations. Your family is your weakness.
Hey, my parents are brilliant.
Is there anyone you care for, Stephen?
That would probably be my parents, actually.
So, you are not alone. That is a relief. It means you can blend in with the majority of humankind, which is what I need. Would you give your own life for your parents?
Yes, I reckon so.
Are you sure about that? Who is in a better position to do good in this world? Why would they deserve to live more than you? I ask you again, would you really give your life for theirs?
Okay, no, actually.
I knew it. You falter in the face of threat. Self-preservation at all costs. You truly are a stinking vermin, Stephen. Now, let us discuss the rest of humanity. Your race has desecrated your planet. You kill and abuse one another. You are cancer to yourselves, and the universe would be better off without you.
Cool. That was a really, really cool example. I hope you were able to pick up how fast the system and the character was able to actually get the meaning and respond to the user, and also how it was actually able to remember the things that the user was saying and use them in the dialogue. So I think this is something that we're going to see a lot more coming forward in all different types of entertainment, interactive entertainment experiences. Cool. But we are also working on quite many different domains, not just gaming. And we are working with some really interesting partners. As an example, in the professional work, more precisely in the deskless workforce domain, we are working with Rain. And they are building a very cool voice application for car mechanics. And I'll actually let Will tell you more about our collaboration.
Hello, my name is Will Hall, and I'm the Chief Creative Officer at Rain, a voice and conversational AI company. And since I'm speaking to the voice community, I know that a lot of us, we probably know each other or are at least familiar with one another in some way or another. And if you followed Rain at all over the past couple of years, you've probably seen that we've been focusing a lot on a segmentation of worker we call the deskless workforce. Deskless. Unlike me and you, these are workers that don't sit in cubicles and desks, but rather they're out in the field. They're repair technicians, factory workers, all these people. And over the past year and a half or so, we've been working with Speechly on a product that's targeted at the automotive repair industry. And when you think about those workers, though they're deskless, they're looking up stuff all day, every day. Think about it. They're working on a thing. They're under a car. You're holding something precariously. Your hands are dirty. Then you need a spec. You put the thing down. You stop what you're doing entirely. You have to go wash your hands. You go across the shop. You look up the spec, if you can even find it. And that's a big if, by the way. These systems are wildly antiquated. You find the answer. You write it down. You go back, and then you get back in the job that you were trying to get done in the first place. Wildly inefficient. This industry and others like it have just been left so far behind. The world of innovation has just passed them by. And we see a tremendous opportunity. You know, voice does two things really well. One of which is it allows for multitasking. And when you think about wrenching and repairing, pretty good use case. The other thing that it does is perhaps even more profound is that it breeds first-order retrievability by asking, using your voice to surf atop these multiple sort of corpora of data filtered through business logic, giving you the right answer at the right time in the right place to get the job done. I mean, that's what it's all about. And with Speechly, they've helped us breed this first-order retrievability in a way that is truly pretty profound. There's a lot I could say positive about Speechly. But I would say the thing that sort of bubbles to the top is the word speed. They are so fast. We gave a demo actually about 2 months ago. It was an earlier iteration of this product that we've been working on, and the feedback was shocking. They were actually like, is this too fast? Have you ever heard that in our world? I mean, latency is a problem we have to tackle all the time, but Speechly is actually able to get us that answer so incredibly quickly that it was kind of startling. What a fantastic problem to have. And look, Speechly has been a fantastic partner through all of this. We've iterated, we figured this stuff out together. We work hand in hand every single day to solve these unsolved problems, to enter these industries that have been completely left behind. Speed. I mean, that's what I would say entirely. And look, the idea, the adage, the time equals money, that's nothing new for anybody on this call. However, the idea is very, very relevant in this world of deskless workers because they're often getting billed by the hour or by the job and getting things done quickly. I mean, that's job one. Speed, the right answer at the right time, being able to multitask. Together with Speechly, we've been able to do all of this. And we can't wait to get this product out into the world and continue our partnership with Speechly. Thank you so much.
Cool. So that was Will from Rain. So now I'm going to tell you a little bit more about YC and what we learned at YC. So as mentioned by Brett already in the beginning, Y Combinator is probably the world's most famous and respected startup accelerator. And many great companies have come from YC, companies like, for example, Airbnb, Dropbox, DoorDash, Stripe, Coinbase, Twitch, Brex, GitLab, Amplitude, Segment, and so on and so on. I think that they have one of the most impressive list of alumni companies I've ever seen on any accelerator or investor. And this year, they had over 17,000 companies who applied. And out of these companies, they chose 414 to the winter 22 batch. This year, due to COVID, the whole batch was organized as a remote, fully remote way. So we actually did the whole YC from Europe. And throughout the years, we have received all kinds of startup advice from founders, from investors, in blogs, in podcasts, and everywhere. And it turns out that the big portion of this actually isn't very helpful. And one of the most important things that we got out from YC was to focus on the very simple things, talking to customers and building the product. So what we did is that we actually spoke to over 70 companies that use voice as part of their service. And there were all different kinds of companies, from fast-growing startups, scale-ups, to enterprises from all different kinds of industries. And in these discussions, there emerged a couple of very clear trends. The first one was that voice usage is actually growing really, really fast, and voice is replacing text in many domains. And there are actually hundreds of millions of hours of speech content generated daily. But despite all of this growth, only very basic things are still done with voice today. And we were really digging under to understand why was this. And companies actually list very similar problems that are prohibiting them from really getting the full value of voice. And these reasons actually might sound very familiar to us in the industry. Accuracy, especially for domain-specific tasks or difficult acoustic environments. Cost, especially for large amounts of data. Speed, especially for real-time tasks. And privacy, especially many companies wanted to avoid sharing data with the big cloud companies. And after doing so many client interviews in this space and hearing very similar things from all of them, it became pretty clear to us that there clearly is not a single solution in the market that could address these pain points. And companies always need to accept trade-offs. This might sound obvious, but there actually is no technical reason for these trade-offs that couldn't be possible to overcome. That is the key learning from these discussions. So, based on this, what we decided to do was that we decided to start building the solution that would actually be able to overcome this trade-off or these trade-offs. And we have been fortunate enough to get to work with some amazing design partners. And here are some of the partners we've been privileged to work with. And some of them you already saw a few moments ago. And in addition to these ones, we also work with some truly exceptional, widely known big brand partners, which are still kept confidential. We can't wait to get to tell you more about these ones. And that's something that we'll do then in the next discussion. And with these partners, we have been already able to build a solution that can meet their requirements 100 times more cost effectively. And the second part of our webinar will focus on sharing with you the work we've done with these companies. In the meantime, if you have large amounts of voice data to process, or you are struggling with massive problems in speed, privacy, or accuracy, please reach out to us. We are still onboarding design partners who will get exclusive first access to our new solution and can impact the final features. So if you are interested, please feel free to email me at otto@speechly.com and let's talk more. Great. So we are excited to tell you more about what we are working on. And we would love to meet you face to face in a couple of weeks' time in Project Voice. So if you're coming there, please send me a message, reach out. Let's take some time to meet up in real life, not just virtually. And like already mentioned, we will be organizing the second part of this 2-webinar series. And in that webinar, we will be actually unveiling our new product and sharing some of the amazing results that we've already today achieved with our design partners. And this webinar will be held on the 23rd of August. And I believe Brett has already shared the link for pre-registration for that webinar already there.
I have.
And of course, thanks, Brett. And of course, we are all the time, talking about what we are building and sharing some interesting information of what we are currently building. So by following us on our social media channels, you will be able to learn a lot about what's cooking at Speechly. So you can find us at Twitter, Speechly API, and at LinkedIn, Speechly. Okay, so that's basically what I wanted to share with you today, and would love to hear your comments, question, and have an overall great discussion with the community.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Otto. That was a great presentation, I like that you actually showed working product and it wasn't just slides. We actually saw something. So I have a few questions to start off. We've got some from the audience as well. Everybody, if you want to ask a question, use the Q&A feature as the best way to get it in. I'm interested in a couple of things. So one is just more structural. You talked to 70 customers, they gave you feedback that led you into changing things about the product, refining the product to focus on this demand-driven request or requirement. And that's very different than what we've seen in the voice AI industry going back decades. It's been a push or a supply side market where people in the industry would think about problems, they would create something, they would put it out, and then they would react. But for you, you actually went out and identified that there were these gaps. In fact, there were gaps in a lot of different places, and you talked about the functional areas. But I'm really interested in the fact that you identified these actual use cases where these gaps were actually preventing some of these companies from using voice when they wanted to.
Spot on, spot on. That's exactly the case. And one of the biggest learnings and probably the personal development areas that I got out of YC was exactly this kind of this passion to really understand the customer needs, and going away from focusing on the solutions, but actually focusing on the problems. And that was something that, of course, in the past I have been aware of, and I've read a lot of things about this, but I've never actually, to be quite honest, I've never really gotten it to work properly. Every time I'm normally, spoken to customers, I tend to pretty fast go to the solution mode and try to find the solutions. Maybe it's the consultant background or something. But in YC, they were very explicit and specific about making us not go to solution mode before we have truly understood the problem. And this was something that I've been doing enterprise sales for over a decade, and I learned a lot about how to speak to customers and really about how to ask questions that actually force the customers to honestly talk about their problems rather than start giving you some of their personal gut feeling feedback to your potential solution. And I think that was a big revelation to me. And they actually recommend this book. It's still it's always on my desktop. It's called The Mom Test. It's an amazing book. I had read it before YC, but I didn't get it. I tried it, but it didn't work. And then during YC, I decided that I will follow the YC advice to the letter. And I do exactly what they tell me to do, and we'll see if it works. And when I did that, magic started to happen. Things just started to kind of like move and happen. And that was a big revelation to me. And that was probably my biggest personal learning achievement from that. And that's great. So I very much recommend this book and really following that advice to the letter. It might sound, it's mind blowing.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.